Good. Okay. Okay, we will call the workshop meeting to order for November 9th. We have done the Pledge of Allegiance prior to the public hearing. All town board members are still present, so we will skip the roll call. I'm going to ask for the town board accepts the agenda as prepared by the town supervisor, and I have a couple, at least 3 additions. I know Councilman Coleman has an addition of a discussion on a ZBA matter. And Councilwoman Smeeseth had 2 additions. I'll let you say that.
Yeah, so one's gonna be to authorize and establish a Zoom account for the committees to use so that we have a generic one for all the committees and commissions to be able to use for Zoom if they have any members. And then the other one is for us to approve Toys for Tots to use their community center as a distribution center.
Okay. My apologies. Financial report still is not finished. Oh, yes, we need to. Yes. Do I have a motion as amended?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained. Don't know why I have a mental block on that. The financial report is still being completed. We're in training with my new assistant. She's gotten some of the reconciliations done, has not totally finished. So I anticipate that we will have them for the November 20th, but I will, as soon if I get them sooner, I will email them to everybody. Resolution, we tabled the minutes last meeting, so the Town of Rochester Town Board accepts the minutes of the October 5th, excuse me, business meeting as presented.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving into discussion, Aaron, we had talked about a day for climate smart community primarily, but for all boards and commissions.
Yes.
Do you have more?
Yeah, I have more. So basically, I am proposing that we have a board and commission open house Sunday, December 3rd. My proposal is from 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. I've done outreach to the commissions that have lots of vacancies, and I've gotten responses back from some of them and still waiting to hear back from others. But my proposal right now would be for the first hour to be a Climate Smart Task Force presentation and Q&A. I have Eleanor Peck from the Hudson Valley Regional Development Council is coming. And then I might have someone from Cornell come, so we'll have a panel of people who can help answer questions. Then from 2 to 4:30, my proposal is that would be a commission, boards and commission tabling and open house. My open questions is, and I've been kind of asking the chairs this, but we could have some additional 15 to 30 minute time slot presentations for anyone that wants to, so that there could be an agenda. And then the other question I had is like, should we have a general 30-minute talk on just like boards and commissions generally for anyone that comes? And then the other, my other sort of idea is like, could we provide any refreshments?
So that one is easy, yes.
Okay.
We can do that. We still have some money left in the budget from celebrations.
Okay.
You know, we can.
But I've gotten really
keep
good.
it under like that.
Yeah. I was thinking like, coffee, tea, that kind of stuff. But I've gotten really good feedback with the people that I've talked to. So what I want to do is, I think the decision points would be, do we want this to be a board meeting, or do we want just, if it's a board meeting, then 3 of us could come. It's not necessary for that. But if we are all planning, if other board members are planning to come, especially if we want to have like housing, like we want to have representation from the boards and commissions, then we might all want to be there. We won't be making decisions, but we will be conducting business.
We'll still open it as we'll open it officially as a board meeting and close it as a board meeting.
The issue is if three of us aren't present, then it wouldn't be a board meeting. And I don't know if that would.
Yeah. We basically couldn't have the board meeting. If we scheduled the board meeting, the thing I didn't ask Mary Lou is if we scheduled the board meeting and three people don't show up, the board meeting would just get canceled, but that wouldn't preclude the open house from still happening.
Yeah. I
So-
feel very comfortable even managing this solo, just like in terms of I'm asking other people to present and acting as a host. But if you guys feel strongly about being present, then I think we would want to make it a meeting.
Well, I can go either way. Certainly a Sunday afternoon in early December, I'm sure there's a lot of things I'll be busy doing, so, but I'm happy to be here. I guess we could just sort of poll, if anybody feels strongly that they want to come and we end up with 3 people, we should schedule it as a meeting. If we're positive we're not gonna have 3, or if 3 people show up, just somebody volunteers to say, or we can even tag team it. Somebody can come for an hour and leave, and somebody else can come for an hour.
I was wondering if we wanted to do shifts then, so we
Yeah.
don't have to do it. It's like,
Yeah.
I like to stop by, but I can't
Yeah,
fully commit. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's okay.
With the pantry, and I don't want to schedule a meeting and make it confusing.
This
Just
is our-
schedule the meetings.
so I'm
Schedule the meeting.
well. Yeah,
Do you want to come? So
but we don't have to if we don't think it's a non-issue. If 3 people aren't here at the same time, then it's a non-issue.
I would also like the option, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
My days.
So we can leave it at that, because I mean, I'm fine in saying if there's 2 other people or 1 other person here and just saying, I'll
One,
leave
2,
and come back or whatever. But we could schedule this meeting. It just means we have to officially open it as a meeting, and we do need to have minutes, but the minutes would be that the town board held an open house for boards and commissions, and then when it's all done, we'll make a resolution to adjourn the meeting, so.
Do we have a meeting in between?
We do. We have the meeting on the 20th, and we can actually wait till then to do that.
Cause I'm just,
resolution.
if the 3 of us aren't there.
Actually, we have
at
2 more
one-
meetings. We have the 20th and we have the 30th.
Cause if 3 of us aren't there at 1, then am I allowed to just like let it happen?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because then the meeting didn't happen because there's no quorum. If there's no quorum, there's no meeting.
There's no town board business.
But Mary Lou was saying, well, then you can't do the event, but I would think that's wrong
I think
because
she wasn't sure.
there's nothing to stop the event from going on at the same time.
Okay, so I guess you could schedule a meeting, schedule it as a meeting.
Why don't we wait, and if people can want to check their schedules more, we can do it on the 20th. It's still enough time for Kate to advertise, right, Kate, for
Yeah.
December
But can
2nd?
I still promote the event?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the event's happening
My,
regardless. I can't just
yeah, and I don't want to speak
Yeah.
for everybody else, but I would say, go ahead and promote the event. Your schedule that you proposed, and, I'll get you the list of boards and commissions. There's 1 more opening now that wasn't on that original list.
Okay.
Or I can just tell you what it is, but,
Okay. Yeah, the other
So-
thing that I'm excited about is I wanna make, well, we'll see, but I wanna have applications present so that people can apply right there if they're excited.
we don't really have a board and commission application per se. We used to, but now it's just, we just
I
ask
was
them
thinking
for
about
an
making
email.
a Google form
That's fine.
and then the responses could go in a
You go-
spreadsheet and
You
then-
go right ahead. What?
What's the new opening?
Board of Ethics. We have a resident who's moving out of town.
Wasn't
so-
that one on there, or is there
There's
another?
a new one.
They're so good at it.
I think
She
Mike.
just resigned yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you
There's a new one who just resigned yesterday. I mentioned it before the meeting, but he just resigned yesterday because he's moving to Dutchess County. So he's not eligible to be a member anymore, so.
okay.
Said they waited to close until election day because they want to vote in Rochester. So, okay, why don't we take care of the other additional ones before we get into the RFP? So, The ZBA matter, Michael, do you want to sort of elaborate on what the question or the issue is?
Yeah, I think the ask is there's currently a question before the ZBA that has to do with violation notices, and they wanted to get some clarification about what specifically generated it, what the background
Okay.
was, what the
For a
thinking was.
particular application?
Correct.
Okay.
And I guess the guidance from Mary Lou was the board should just have a resolution that allows them to say, formally ask somebody from code enforcement to come and talk about that.
Okay.
Is that accurate?
I didn't get anything in mind.
Yeah, and so, Chair Zarowski offered to put some language together, and I just haven't had a chance to think up
Well,
on
if
that.
one, I could do one off the top of my head right now, because I kind of know what needs to be in those resolutions.
We could do that, or I mean, we could do it on Monday too.
Because his next meeting would be, his next meeting
It's
would be
next week.
before that meeting of the 20th.
Isn't that Monday? Oh,
No.
wow.
Our meeting is
nine.
Tuesday.
Oh,
His next meeting is.
yeah, okay, so
next
let's
Thursday.
put something together and
I can do it right now.
Yeah.
So,
let's
so Town of Rochester Town Board authorizes the chair of the zoning board of appeals to request a member of the code enforcement staff to attend, was it for next Thursday?
Mhm.
To attend the meeting on Thursday, November 16th. For questions regarding violation notices. Okay, about a second.
Second.
For discussion, would it be better to amend that to take out the date? And just allow them
Sure.
to make the request?
Sure.
In general?
Absolutely. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'll amend my resolution. Yeah, that's fine.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, see, they're under the law, they can essentially, they're like a court and they can equivalent of subpoena somebody, but they can request attendance. I think Mary Lou was just that in order to sort of formalize, because it's after hours. So
Yeah.
we're authorizing, by doing this, we're authorizing essentially overtime or potential overtime.
Right, exactly.
Additional hours, put it that way, for a person to attend.
I will let the chair know he can subpoena anyone.
That's in the state,
Valuable.
that's in the state law. But in this case, it's a simple request. But we can't do a generic blanket one because each one has to be considered by us for the particular situation with ours, so. But I'm happy to take the date out.
Okay.
So, and you seconded? Or who seconded?
Yeah, I seconded.
Are you okay with that
Yeah,
amendment?
that's fine, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, first one down. Toys for Tots, you wanna just
Sure.
talk about it real quick, and we can do a resolution?
Sure, so the Toys for Tots, local chapter was at the food pantry this week signing, I guess, for Toys for Tots. And they were looking, if you heard, I was a town board member, and they're looking for a distribution site on the southern side of Ulster County, because right now they only have Kingston, which for people in Parker House and Ellenville, they don't have transportation to go pick up the toys is hard. They had one location that was originally going to happen, but they have not heard back from them. So I already cleared with Ashley that the community center is available December 20th, for the time they need during the day. And it's just them showing up with the toys and handing them out to the people that already signed up. And I'm just, we need to approve that and get an insurance waiver from them that, as long as we get an insurance waiver that they're allowed to do that, but.
And if we approve it tonight, can you be the liaison to?
Yeah,
just ask them for
absolutely,
that
I
and Just
have-
have them email it to me?
Yeah, I have all their information and stuff, so. They're also local, the two people that are organizing it, so. Yeah, it's just kind of a backup. If their other location follows through, then they won't need it, but just to have somewhere for them to distribute on the south side would be great.
Any questions or discussion? If not, I can do another resolution. So,
I'm okay.
okay, so, what's the official name of the group? Is it Toys for Tots?
yeah.
Okay, we'll make a motion to the Town of Rochester Town Board allows use of the community center on December 20th for Toys for Tots organization to distribute Christmas presents. And the organization shall submit a certificate of insurance to the town supervisor prior to the event.
I'll second.
And actually, let me amend at no cost to the organization. Or free of charge, however we want to word it, so.
I'll
Okay.
second the amendment.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained.
Great,
Thanks, guys.
thank you. We consider something else.
We were the
Oh, yeah,
More
lower
like central.
kids.
yeah,
But we're in the middle still.
we're like southern western,
Yeah, we're like, so, yeah, we're a weird.
we're the Arizona of.
But still,
Yeah.
compared to Kingston.
Made that up, but.
We're a good middle ground besides Kingston on like far enough distance to cover the whole county, so.
Next, the Zoom account. I think it's a great idea. The problem exists in that to create a Zoom account, it's got to be assigned to an email address, and right now it's assigned to me. Charlotte makes a very good suggestion, is that we create a second one that we can share with all our boards and commissions. What I'll do is ask our email coordinator to create a commissions with an S at Town of Rochester email that they can all know the password. It's only going to be used to log into the Zoom. And it seems to be a great solution, and then we don't have to deal with it this way, because that's the one downside about Zoom is you got to have a person attached to it or an email address. And right now it's mine, and I'd rather not, be sharing that, because essentially I don't want to say it's my liability, but it is kind of. So I'm happy to do it that way. It would mean opening up a second Zoom account, but it's not that pricey, and I also think it will make life easier, because then we can reserve this for the three main boards that use Zoom, us, the planning board, and the ZBA, and then we can use this other account for everything else.
Yeah, because I know the ECC, they do Zoom. Do they still do Zoom?
No,
I know
they
that
have their third Thursday.
They're doing it through
their-
their own.
I would want there to just be a process, like only the chair has that. I would just be wary about everyone having their password, just because we wouldn't want that to just.
Yeah, I think that that's fine too, that it's just one, like the housing committee, they're doing a rotating chair thing, but that it's one person who's assigned to set it up while they're here, like, because the housing committee has a member that Zooms half the year with
It'll
them.
probably, if they're
So-
here, it would probably say password, so.
Oh, because I tried that theory,
It doesn't save?
no, one time.
The
it was
mini
saved
computer
when I did
should.
One, but another time I had to do everything fresh and select between the two.
Let me
so-
try and see if we can save it to the computer, not to Zoom, but to the
The
computer.
But yeah, either way, I didn't wanna.
It may just not be
the
turned
password.
on the mini computer, the save function.
And if I'm not at their meeting, like they've been using FaceTime, the one meeting I wasn't at, they like FaceTime the other member on his cell phone to get them in, so. If we can avoid that and just create another Zoom account, then it's open to all of the other committees if they wanna Zoom and use it while they're here.
Yeah, and part of the reason I'm reluctant is because you're likely to have more changeover of committee chairs and committee members and things, and that's like when there was a key to the old town hall that probably 100 people had in the town because everybody had a copy of it. So I think it's going to be similar in that everybody's going to have all the passwords, whereas it's pretty restricted right now that employees of the town, the secretary of the planning board has the code. I have the code. Rather
Always
than
change passwords.
you can, but then when you,
And you have to tell
then you gotta
the-
make sure everybody else knows the change and so.
You
Do we
wouldn't-
want to open it up on a month basis for the moment and try it? And rather than just go for the full year? The full year does save some money, but we want to give it a. If we do it on a
What is it
month
for
for
a
2 or
year?
3 months, and then go to a full.
What, do we know what a
It's like
full year
110,
is?
is it under?
I don't remember the price. If you want, I can
thought
get
it was
the,
around-
if you want, I can get the cost and come back to the next meeting and let you know. I just don't remember.
We can see too, because if we end up going with the Microsoft stuff, that might
Oh,
have
yeah, they can
Teams
do
included
Microsoft,
with
they can
it,
do Teams.
then everybody would have their own.
Yeah. You want to just do it on a month-to-month basis for right now, which is not very expensive, and then we can revisit it for in January for whether to do a full year?
Yeah.
Sure.
Or we could revisit it when the other one comes due and then do them both for a full year at the same time. Okay. So I'll make a motion then to authorize the supervisor to establish a Zoom account for use by town Rochester committees to be paid on a month-to-month basis.
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. The RFP proposals. I shared with you all the two proposals last week. I'm hoping everybody had a chance to look at them. Basically, the question that we have to answer is, do we want to contract with either company, or do we not want to contract with anybody? And essentially, so that's the three questions to ask is, do we want to contract with company A, do we want to contract with company B, or do we want to not accept either of these? And I'll just sort of open it up for discussion if anybody wants to talk. Pros and cons. Now, this falls under, trying to think of the proper terminology. It's the equivalent of, say, an attorney or professional consultants, I think is the word in our procurement policy. The reason that exception is in there is the cheapest consultant is not always the best consultant. So we can base it on the merits of their proposal as to which one we hire. Certainly the cost comes into play in our own mindset and in our own vote, but we are not required to base it solely on the cost. But we're not doing a best value because this doesn't rise to the level of needing sealed bids, so it's quotes. And on quotes for this type of thing, we can hire either company. So I don't know if anybody has any thoughts or any comparisons between the two that they want to bring up, or if somebody wants to make a resolution, or if you want to wait again until next meeting. I mean, it is a substantial price difference.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, looking at the two, I don't see a big difference in what they're offering. I think they're both offering similar things. My guess is that the reason the first one is significantly lower than the other is they're going to come in, they're billing us for the analysis right now. And if we go beyond the analysis of needing their services, we're going to then be negotiating another contract for their services moving forward. What we're paying for right now is an analysis of all the town buildings to give us a report, much like the building condition survey, give us a report of the conditions and recommendations for changes. And then if we want to make changes, we'd be going back out for quotes or bids, depending on the cost.
And that's what we originally wanted in the first place. It's just the information that we don't have.
Well, it's an analysis by a professional. As I said, I think back in January when we first talked about this, none of us are in the security business. We've had a lot of people say cameras, cameras, cameras. Cameras may be part of the answer, but cameras may not be the only answer. And certainly a company that's in the security business can advise us of what's the most effective and efficient way to deal with security in our buildings and other facilities.
And potentially things we're not even thinking about.
Correct. And they both did come do about a 2 to 3 hour, I'd say a 3 hour. I'm sorry, the Gilligan's Island song just went in my head. 3 hour tour. because they did a 3-hour tour of the town of Rochester, and I took them to all the buildings. One was not able to get into the courthouse because it was a Friday and nobody was present there, so we were unable to get in the building, but they walked around the outside. They saw all the other buildings. And the two proposals are based on that visit. So. I neglected to bring mine, so I don't have the names and everything in front of me if somebody wanted to make a resolution. I mean, I would be prepared if we went for discussion. Which one was
DDQs was the lower.
that was 4,000?
Mhm.
So
I
meant-
mean, I'm still not clear if that's the price, like, that's the only number I see on it, but.
No, that was the price that he originally presented in his email to me, was that for $4,000, we will do this, but I asked him for a more detailed proposal other than a 3-sentence email. And so I'm assuming what that is. We can confirm that that is indeed their price.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as that's confirmed, their price.
I mean, if that's not their price, then we don't sign the agreement. Yeah, because if we adopt the resolution, it's to offer contract to them at X number of price. And if they come back and say, oh, that wasn't our price, then the contract doesn't happen.
Did they provide you like a sample of what the report looks like or anything?
Both, what you're seeing is, I mean, we got the original proposal from the 4 companies.
Yeah.
Back earlier in the spring. And then it took a little while, and then I reached out to all 4, as we discussed them. I reached out to I reached out to 3 of the 4. We rejected one as we thought that the company was not appropriate for a rural community. It seemed a much more urban company, based on their clientele. I then offered all 3 to come visit. All 3 did come visit. And then followed up with them to say, please make a more detailed proposal with cost. And one emailed back and said, respectfully, we're going to decline. And then the other 2 followed through with this.
Yeah.
So this is their proposal that essentially we're basing it on. I mean, what I would do is if we agree to this, I'm gonna ask Mary Lou, and she's a little busy with a wedding right now, but I will ask Mary Lou to draw up a contract. And then we'll present the contract to them. And if you wanna consider it more, if you wanna go back and ask more questions, if you wanted, we could ask them to attend a meeting by Zoom or in person. I'm sure they would Zoom in, because either one is right. They're close, but they're not that close to us.
I mean, it's a better cost. It's not an insignificant cost, and like you're saying, even after we get a report, we're still gonna have to do sign stuff, and so I don't want this to turn into like an extensive amount of expenses that we have to deal with. But I guess my biggest concern is safety of the employees, and then safety of people that are utilizing town.
I mean, both of them outline a step-by-step process of what they will do for that amount of money.
Yeah.
And both of them, to me, both seem comparable. If I remember correctly, surprisingly, the one that was less expensive was more detailed in their description of, there were more steps involved, but the reason there were more steps involved is they took each category and broke it out into subcategories, whereas the other one left it more generic.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's a positive or a negative on that. I think ultimately they both said very similar steps.
Yeah.
I don't think one said something that was really different from the other one.
I guess I apologize, I probably should have asked for this before. It would be good to see samples of the 2, because they have the initial report and then they have the design. Just that's something that they've done somewhere else. Like, are we getting a PowerPoint, or are we getting a 20-page?
If you want to table it, I can email them and ask them that specific question of what what the work product would be that we will receive for this and get that answer for the next meeting. It's 11 days away. It's not gonna be a significant
I mean, that's why,
slow down.
yeah, my concern is that this phase is X cost, and then when you want the actual design, which is how you would implement this, it's gonna be 10, 15, we're gonna be closer to that number. This is just how I feel, I don't know,
Anybody else?
Closer to which number? I'm sorry.
like the higher number that we're saying.
Yeah, the design, the facility security design is not included in this. They're saying, we'll do an assessment, and if you wanted us, after that assessment, you wanted to get facility design plans, then that would be a separate.
Right, I'm worried that would be.
Well, we would make a,
We would have to
make
do
a
an
decision
RFP.
about
Oh, sure.
what we were gonna do based on the assessment.
I think working with the lower one gets us the information that we need to know if we're barking up wrong, and no matter what, it's gonna be a lot more expensive than the initial, evaluation. But once we have the information, we're not locked into them for design or implementation. We could use any hosts of people. Might even be able to do some of it ourselves in-house, or hire an electrician or things like that. But right now, we don't have any information. I can't see us spending, 10 times the amount to gain that information. So, point taken about the way we're gonna get it, but if we have to pick between one or the other, I can't pick one that's $30-some thousand.
$4,000 is nothing.
Yeah, like, I am comfortable with going with the $1,000 one. I think it'll give us a baseline that we need. Like, I don't think we're necessarily with the other one. I think both are comparable businesses, but I don't think that
I
I'm
don't-
necessarily looking
I'm
for a
sorry.
full design.
I don't remember, you two were not on the board when we did the building condition survey RFP, right?
I've read it.
You two were. So we had things ranging from like, the one we awarded was like 7,000 or 6,700 or
Something like that.
all the way up to 90 and 100,000. And those we scored them all. That was our first real experience with the best value. And we got like, what, 22 applications? I mean, it was significant. And at the end of the day, we ended up with the cheapest one, and we got exactly what we expected to get for it, which was these are, by building and by facility, these are things you should do immediately. These are things you might want to consider in the near future, and these are long-term things you want to consider. And we picked away at a bunch of them through various projects since we did that. We haven't by any means done probably even half of them, but we've done a bunch of them. And we've included it kind of in our budget, and when we're able to, we pick off a little more. And I almost envision this report may be somewhat similar in that it's going to say, these are the things you should immediately do. No questions asked.
These are the things that are putting your people in jeopardy, or the town in liability, something like that. I'd love to know what that is sooner than later.
And I think the lower price one, the way all three sort of portrayed it is, they're gonna come, they're gonna talk to the department heads, they're gonna interview, they're gonna observe operations as they're happening now. And that may only be a week to 2 week, and then write the report based on that. I don't anticipate that they're gonna spend hundreds of hours on site to come up with these suggestions. I think they're gonna do a few days or a week or whatever they choose to do, and then come up with this and then write the report. So
Sorry.
I think the lower price doesn't seem out of line to me. I mean, there's a big gap between the two, but it doesn't seem out of line to me if that's what they made. I think obviously they priced it to what they were comfortable with.
This higher cost proposal includes schematic designs for how they think we should upgrade the system.
Oh, I missed that part.
This one, the lower cost one is not gonna, they will say whether or not they think we need to upgrade, replace, or ignore something based on factors. Like it says, they'll say like assessment of prioritize recommendations based on information collected and whether you should replace, repurpose, or enhance existing systems, but they're not gonna provide us with the solutions. They're just gonna say, this is the current state that doesn't meet standards. These are your green, yellow, and red areas.
They're only telling us problems, they're not telling us solutions.
Right, but this one is would come up with schematics and drawings. And I'm not advocating for the higher one, because I think we don't even know right now. So I don't want to go with the higher cost one without knowing what.
Well, because if we go down that route and get all those schematics, we may decide we don't want to do it, or we can't afford to do it. And, or we've got to go out chasing grant money for it, and that may take another year down the road. And by then, those schematics may not even be.
If we know what the problems are.
Yeah.
Sometimes solutions, appear through other things we're doing, or, again, you get smart people here that once they give them the information, can figure it out. If it's something needs to be figured out.
This one is the lower cost one, they said they'll provide cost estimates, but that'll just be,
Yeah, and to be clear, I don't think the number's off either. I understand it takes time. Presumably they don't put together a substantial report. I would feel more comfortable if the board wants to do this, just seeing a sample work product, just to know, I think the building survey was a good product. That was a substantial presentation that they did. I'd be curious just to see what we can expect from this before we agree to it. But
We're putting it off 10 more days, 11 more days is not a big deal. I mean, I can certainly reach out to them tomorrow and say, can you please elaborate on what the work product will be, or provide a sample. I mean, they may not want to give us samples of their work with other people, because that may be sort of, we could sort of take that as, oh, well, we can use this sample for our analysis on our own. I could see that they may not want to provide an actual work
or in
product.
the first round of submittals, that I think some of them did have work samples.
Yeah, I mean, I have those right here.
In those packets. But I don't just know which one would be.
We got those in July. If you want, I can recirculate those.
They're on my.
Yeah.
That's.
file under my desk.
Under.
So, okay, so I'm kind of hearing, and I'm okay with that being the answer. So we'll table this and take it up on the 20th. In the meantime, I will email them and ask them to work product itself will
For
be
the, just the lower cost,
just the lower cost one.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, okay, and that's fine. Okay, next is zoning map, and Michael, you're gonna hate me, but it's more paper, but I'm gonna need you guys to see what we're dealing with, so.
Got shredder.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't make, so. This is the review map of where we stand right now on the zoning map. And what my goal tonight is for us to, Tom Hines has made these for us from the County Information Services, free of charge. And he's the one who did our original zoning map. What I would like to do tonight is I'll put this up on the screen and we'll sort of scan across the town and catch some parcels that we may have missed and just verify that we're all comfortable with all those parcels. And then we will do a resolution to set this map for public hearing. It doesn't mean it's the final map. We can still make changes after that, but he is then going to take this and put this in a more appropriate map format. This is just set up, and the parcel SBL numbers are there strictly for our purposes right now. He's not sure if they will remain or not remain. I did ask him to overlay the county ag district, and this is that. It's the crosshatches, And there are a couple interesting parcels that we probably want to revisit. And then these maps are essentially done, except I caught that in the historic preservation overlay, he flip-flopped the location of Algerville and Ackworth. So that is this map. The really nice thing about the way he did it is he started with the county road map. And because of that, on the right-hand side, there is a list of all the roads in our town, and it's a grid work, so you can find your road and then go to that quadrant. And I guess it's not a quadrant, it's that section, and find your area very easily. What I asked him to do, rather than clutter up the main zoning map, is create these overlay maps that we will do separately. So we will essentially have 5 zoning maps when we're all done. This is the aquifer protection overlay, this one. So there's one for each overlay district. That's the aquifer.
You said you flip-flopped the name.
He flip-flopped Algerville and Ackworth. Not the inset isn't flip-flopped, but what is flip-flopped, if you. Oh, he did. He flip-flopped the names.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. You are correct. Because I followed the lines, because if you see the dotted lines, they go to that area. And I'm like, Algerville goes to Ackworth, but you're right. That's all he flipped was the names. This is the floodplain overlay, which he overlaid. Well, you're approving them ultimately, so you need to see what you're approving. And this is the EEO overlay.
Just overwhelmed with maps.
I know. I was arts and crafts day last night at the town printer.
I mean, technically, we're southern.
I don't know.
We're in the southern.
Well, we're not the center, definitely. That's why I say we're the Arizona, we're southwest. So,
What do you guys look like?
before we continue on, is there anything else that we're gonna vote on tonight other than this one resolution? Because if not, I'm gonna let Kate go, because Kate doesn't need to be here while we change map. Parts of this.
Oh, we can let it go.
That, just you can, for the public and for the board, the executive session at the tail end of the agenda is not going to happen tonight because that was put there in anticipation. I would have an email from the attorney today that did not materialize. So there will be no executive session at the end of this meeting.
Yeah, another early meeting.
Yeah, all that's left for us to do is maps.
3,500 parcels, yes. And then we're out of here.
4,800.
4,800.
But who's counting? So, what am I gonna do out of here with these jokes? So what I would love to do is I'm gonna put up the map and I don't know, do you wanna be the parcel viewer person, Aaron, like we did the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah, did that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Old parcel viewer now.
She's not old.
I technically am no longer young.
Like
No label.
like the town of Rochester.
It's not central. It is not central.
It's central. What do you guys?
There's also some
Small townships between us and the southern border.
Look, that's as central as you get. The belt of Ulster County runs right through Rochester.
There's also no north-south.
I also failed geography.
There will be on the map when he's done.
Yeah, that's my last.
That's like the Florida.
I didn't think it worked for me to have parcel viewer as a screenshot, but I can do that with like verbal.
No, you can
Okay.
verbalize, yeah, I think what I'll do is just share the map.
Yeah.
That
one that you wanted to do, I can't. I feel
Well, the one I want to revisit is, you may want to abstain from it because it happens to be your particular.
Oh,
one.
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes,
I forgot.
you guys are in the ag district and you're zoned R too.
Yeah,
We need to
we
change.
never
that.
updated that.
No, we need to change that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Okay, so let me screen share. Let me ask the board's opinion. We want to continue broadcasting? I don't care either way. I'm fine with broadcasting.
I think we can continue broadcasting, but we need to make sure we don't mention names of
Okay,
people who own property.
okay, fair enough. So as long as we can all agree to that, that's fine with me. Because the,
What, okay,
because it doesn't matter who owns a parcel, what we zone it, it's the use of the parcel. So I'd like to sort of reference back and forth between the ag map and the non-ag map. So I'm gonna share screen. So there you go. Do you want me to zoom in more? So the purple areas, remember, are the new PL10 zoning district, the 10-acre zoning district. The bulk of all those properties are in the area where I am right now in our state. What I'm gonna propose is we just move straight across the town, left to right, then we go down and we move right to left, and we go down and move left to right. So, so the purple that's there, those were all changed because they were identified as being state lands. There's no discussions on those. The question becomes, there are 3 parcels that remained in R5. The question is, should they remain in R5 or should they change? And the answer could be either one. They are large parcels that are certainly potentially subdividable, and they are in areas of town that are more remote and probably areas that we don't want smaller lots. And the ones that are R2 there now are all along established roadways.
I would leave, my vote would be to leave those, I think they're vacant.
Yeah.
And
None of them are state owned, right? I just want to confirm that I didn't miss a state one. Because I did a search of state of New York on the tax map and then grabbed every one of those parcels, but.
What are those, 10 acres?
They're
those
10,
skinny ones?
they're about 10 acres. So I would want to leave those R5
Okay,
or PL10, but they don't have a.
I say let's leave all 3 R5. Everybody comfortable with that?
I'm fine.
Big one's probably 20.
Big one is probably 20.
Yeah, but it's got the water going right through it, so I don't even know. if it-
Yeah. Yeah. It would be difficult to get access on the other side. It would be that a bridge. Okay. So then moving across the town. We have this area here. Up at the top off of Sampsonville Road. Some very large parcels there. The one big one, I would propose that we leave that R5. I don't think it warrants to be PL10. I know it's got a stream going through it, but it certainly could potentially be subdivided.
I think it's fine, leave it up.
Yeah. And then if we work sort of down from there, -9, I don't know how many acres that one is, Aaron.
Also 10.
Probably approximately.
Is that Solvig Road, is that another parcel on the other side?
That's what I'm I just blew it up to see.
oh yeah, that
Is there that one little parcel there? We should probably consider changing that one to R2.
that middle one? Yeah. is 1 acre.
Okay, let me bring up my, my list for changes and would everybody agree that since it's 1 acre, I mean, making it R2 probably makes sense. It's not subdividable anyway.
What's the street address for the schoolhouse?
Which schoolhouse?
The Palin Town
Oh,
Schoolhouse?
I'm just trying to orient myself on that road.
I don't know that there's a number. I thought we made the Palatine Schoolhouse because it's owned by the town.
Oh, the,
It should be CS. It is there. I see it.
Okay,
It's further down
okay,
in the map.
I see.
okay,
got it.
little bit sliver.
You have that little sliver of brown.
Okay.
So Aaron, if you can, as soon as I get to the end of my list here, I'm gonna start a new list of new changes.
Okay, so that little 1 acre one, we're gonna switch over to R2.
It's R5 and it's gonna become R2. And can you give me an FBL for it?
I can. It also doesn't have road access.
Okay.
60,
Sorry, 1 second.
I don't know that anything can happen.
Okay, I'm ready, sorry.
60.1 -1 -7.
R5, and it's gonna become R2.
Oh,
First time we did this back in 2012, or not 8.
It was yeah,
We were
yeah, I was just like,
using literally markers on a map.
Yeah.
Okay. Now moving back to the map and moving across, there's some other small properties. Is the little one on the other side of Solveig Road, is that part of one parcel or is that its own? The name kind of obliterates.
that rectangular one? With
The one where the
dash
G
line?
of Solveig is
Oh,
that its own parcel?
it crosses Solveig Lane.
Okay,
There's one that straddles Solveig. Lane.
it's, can you see my cursor? I'm basically looking here. Let me pull it up. Right here. Is this a separate parcel
Yes.
from this one?
I can't.
I don't. Oh. This one. Yeah, in Solveig Lane, it straddles it.
Yeah, it's a little parcel.
It's one little parcel.
Okay, so
Sorry,
that-
I couldn't tell which one you were asking.
Yeah. where the G of Solveig is on the.
That's a 1 acre.
Okay, so we should, agreed, we should make that one R2 as well?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think that is R2 already.
no, it's white. Talking to the one just immediately to the left of 60.1-1-10. Right here,
it's R5.
yeah, it's R5. Okay, so what is that SBL?
60.1-1-11. Must have been subdivided sometime.
Okay, and then the two bigger ones to the right of that, the -10 and the -12,
Those are both about 2 acres, so they
I would
should-
think they should also become R2.
Yeah.
Unless there's a major, if you, I don't know if you turn on the wetland overlay and you see if there's wetlands there. That would be the only reason not to, although they're only already 2 acres, but they could
They're
be.
already 2 acres. I mean, maybe they were zoned that because of the water study, but
Well,
still only 2 acres.
what we did is when we did the original zoning map, we made a bunch R2 and then we overlaid all the flood and all the wetland areas, and anything that was majorly wetlands, we made them R5. So that's why I was saying if you don't, you might want to turn
I
on
turned on the national, let's see which ones.
either the national or the state.
You're talking about the little one? There's no wetlands.
I don't see any.
Okay,
There's a large
talk
wetland.
about the -10 and the -12.
Yes.
Okay.
That's fine.
So they can both become,
They both have houses on them, so.
okay, so so it's 60.1 -1-10.
And 12.
60.1-1-12, and they're both R5, going to R2. Until Tom actually did this, and you could blow it up, you know, you miss some of these parcels,
Then there's that little 1.3 acre,
which is where
That little
the little
bubble.
sort of curve one.
Yeah,
Being that that's on a road, I would say that should also probably become R2.
I agree, it also has a house on it.
Okay. Will you give me FPL on that one?
Yeah, it's 60.1-1-24.100.
No, subdivided at one time.
So weird.
Yeah.
I see.
I'm sorry, I just jumped us. Didn't mean to jump us over. Sorry, I zoomed in when I didn't mean to zoom in, but. The town is at 186.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
We made all of Dawson Lane R2 now.
I believe we did, but let's. I think we did. Well, I don't think we made it. I think it was all R2. Before we move on though, there's a little teeny tiny one, 60.1-1-28,
Yeah,
but it's its own parcel there.
it's owned by the same person. I don't really know what's going on there.
Let's leave that as R5, because I don't know what the access to that is. Okay, so I'm gonna continue moving across the map then. I think the big R5 ones there make sense. Everybody agree on that? What about to the right on the screen right now, the 60.1-2-14? That's probably 10 acres, isn't it? 6.
Oh, I see. The committee wanted to make a lot of this R5.
A lot of what, Dawson?
This whole area, just, yeah, I think
The R2s
they wanted to make R5, yeah.
Well,
I think it was like, cause DeWitt Road, like the access up there is,
yeah. Well, Dawson Lane doesn't connect over to DeWitt, but
No,
at
right.
one time it was, at one time there was a,
that's
I don't-
classified as private forest,
Dawson.
what is?
that one that we were just looking at.
Oh, well, private forest, we've been making most of the private forest PL10s, but it doesn't make sense to make this one PL10 by itself. But I would say if it's private forest, it should stay off.
Which one?
it does,
The 14,
it does connect,
the one off of DeWitt Road there.
the one, yeah, the one next to it is classified as private forest also.
Yeah, let's leave those at R5 then, if they're private forest.
Yeah,
Because the other
14 and
private
15
forest
are all-
ones, the other private forest ones we've made PL10, but I don't think it's appropriate in this because there's no other PL10 in the area. And R5 will do very similar to
Yeah.
PL10.
I mean, if it hasn't, it's not.
I think it's fine. That whole section of DeWitt Road was proposed to go R5. I think it's fine leaving R2.
I
think
yeah.
that had to do with access.
Well, DeWitt Road is now paved too. DeWitt Road was at one time not, and it's now paved.
And
Well-
it could also be that, I don't know what that stream is that runs through. Cause that was part of what was guiding those discussions was there's
Medicon.
Water Creek.
What
What?
size,
Medicon.
what size are those lots on the right side of DeWitt Road?
Like they're about like between 8 and 10.
Dot 100 is 33 acres.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the big one. So the others are
They're like
probably,
there's two
Six.
100s,
they're 6 acres.
like 7, 8.
that could be sold to make the right side by R5. I would leave the left with your smaller lots in the R2.
Onto it.
How do people feel about that? Making the right side R5?
We're
Yeah, I think
talking
it's-
about the left side of the road,
No, he's talking about the right.
or the right side.
Talk
of the
about the
road?
right side of where we're looking at right now.
Those 15 and
Oh, yeah,
16.
those are more.
Yeah.
The ones on the left are 6 acres, the ones on the right
Yeah,
are.
what I'm just throwing out for discussion is leave the left side, which are smaller lots at the R2, but make the right side into R5, because if there's 15 and 16 acres, if they were subdivided, 3 lots might be appropriate, but would we really want 7 or 8 lots? Those being.
Well, yeah,
broken
you're
up
not
into-
gonna be able to build on the other side of the Medica. You have to go
Right.
across the street.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
okay with that.
so that whole stretch, all the way
Yeah, I
down
remember
to
doing
the
that.
17, basically.
This one.
The map remembered it. I definitely did not.
Or you remembered to look.
I remember to look at it.
What is the one all the way up at the border? Does that join with a property in the other town? The 60.1-2-10-100?
This one. New,
Okay,
oh, wait,
That, we're talking about the triangle?
yeah,
Nail City, it says Olive Bridge.
what's that?
The little,
That one, right?
Yeah,
Could be owned by somebody, you know.
oh, City of Rochester, 10 acres. It's its own,
it's its own,
oh, let me see the municipal map. So,
yeah.
yeah, I think it's just
Yeah.
fully in Rochester.
The way you can usually tell is if you click on that parcel and you click on the immediate adjacent one, if they're the same owner, oftentimes it's one deed, but it's split in 2 parcels because of the town
It's a
line.
different owner.
It's a different owner,
Yeah.
okay. So my question is, how many acres is that?
That is
10?
40.
10 acres.
What, the
No,
100?
no, the smaller 100,
Ten.
Oh,
10,
oh.
not the 19.1.
Yeah, okay.
So the one that, the 10.100, should we also make that R5?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
continue with the whole
Okay.
side.
So I don't have to bounce back and forth. Does somebody want to just read me SBL numbers starting in that top corner?
60.1-2-10.100. 60.1-2-19.100. 60.3-5-3.100. 60.3-5-7. 60.3.
Hang on 1 second, sorry.
The next one's gonna be the same, but just -8.
3-5-8.
And the next one's the same, just -11 at the end.
Yep.
The next one's the same, just -12. Next one's the same, -15. Then we gotta scroll down.
Well, I don't know if we want to go past, oh, wait. What's after 12? I got 11, 12,
15.
15. Let me just catch up here. So those are R2s that are gonna become R5.
And then I can't read the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at some point there's a bridge that crosses the Medicahans on DeWitt, isn't there?
Yes, but it's down on the end. It's at the olive end. The bridge is,
There's not one in the Rochester side?
no, it's here. Bridge is right here,
Oh, okay.
up higher. But after 15, I think we want to do the 17, but then when we get down to these smaller parcels, those are actually on, they're not on DeWitt. They're back on Queens Highway. So I think 17 is where we should stop with the R5. And that squares it off anyway. Does everybody agree with that?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So 60, 3, dash 5, dash 5.
Take a note and then say it out.
It's on the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now moving on. Continuing across the town there, so going over to Sundale Road. Now. The 111, the 2.111, which crosses Sundale, is in the ag district. So the question is, we made the big one, which was R5, A3. And then the little tiny one in the center is a family cemetery that I made A3 as well. But the question is, do we want to consider making the 111, which is in the county ag district, A3?
So,
We've been trying not to make ag district properties R5. Because the goal is not to
Wait,
encourage residential.
that one is classified as private woods.
111?
that's one parcel that goes across the road.
Yes.
It's classified, I think, PL10.
Oh
What'd
my
you
God,
do?
Mike,
Oh,
you get
another
broken
dragon cup?
up every time.
Oh, okay, so you want to make that PL10? Okay. How do we feel about with the uses in PL10 though, if it's because it's located in the ag district?
I mean, I think
Do you remember what uses we allowed in agricultural uses in PL10? I don't remember off the top of my head. I can look it up. I think, I got it right.
Wooded property.
Said uses of PL10.
Yeah, agricultural uses.
Uses.
That's. Purple. Thanks. Agricultural labor housing. Agricultural processing facility.
It was the
Oh, we're allowing in PL10?
With a. Agricultural tourism enterprise,
Okay,
agricultural use animal, agricultural use non-animal.
we're allowing all that in PL10?
Yeah.
Then fine, then I would agree then.
Same.
And it borders the other. Now, the question is then the 112 that we made A3, do we want to consider making that one PL10 as well?
That one's got a big
That one has
mode fuel.
fields on it.
Yeah.
And a contractor storage yard.
This is like active agricultural use.
Yeah, it is, and you have to cross the stream to get to it. I've been on that property, off of Sundale. There's a stream and a bridge onto. So let's leave that one then, A3, but the 111 will make PL10?
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody want to read me that number, 60.4 dash.
1-2.111.
And that was R5. And we're changing it to PL.
You're changing the 112 to PL10?
Yes. Yeah. Because Aaron just looked it up and it's a private forest.
No, 111 is
111. No, 112, we're leaving A3. I'm sorry. Yeah, 111, we're gonna leave A3.
Yeah.
That has working agriculture.
Oh, up there, okay.
But the 111 spans Sundale. It's a diagonal. It's the white piece under the R2. And then actually with that, that's the Sailor Mill subdivision up there, up to Sundale, and that was pretty controversial when it was done.
Which one? This little,
It's the group of R2 there off Rock Road.
No, Rock Road.
Mill Rock? No, it says Rock Road on mine. Mill Rock. Oh, I see the mill. I missed the mill. Sorry. Okay.
Did you drive it for Spectrum Cable?
Yes, we did. It's all underground. When they built it, they pulled,
As they should.
yes. It was one of those very controversial, it's never been a controversy since it got built.
Yeah.
So now moving on, we have these little sort of isolated R5s in the middle of all that PL10. And that's where the Vly swampland is. So the question is, do we want to keep those little ones R5? I mean, they're probably all less than 5 acres anyway, with the exception of the 2.100s are probably a little bit bigger. What's the road there?
Deer tail.
There too. It's only accessible from Marbletown. I think I'm okay leaving them as R5s because they're fairly small lots. The big lots surrounding, making them PL10 makes sense.
I think you're fine leaving them. I think that you can't even get that far back.
You can from Marbletown. You can. It's the only way in though.
yeah, I would leave them. They're all under 10 acres and most of them are under 5.
Okay.
So
Let's just leave them alone then. Now moving on to this .11 off of Cliff Road. I mean, originally Cliff Road has always been Cliff Road was made R2, but Cliff Road is not buildable right now until the road gets resolved by somebody doing something. But the 11 is the only R5 property up there. I think what happened was it was joined with all those other purple ones were all R5.
That one we also,
It's got 2 streams on it.
that one we also discussed making a lot of the ones in that part of Cliff Road 5. Making
Well,
those
and-
R2s into 5.
And that I'm okay with that. If you want to talk about making some of them at least way up.
Basically, everything from here up was R5, was the proposal.
How do people feel about that?
I'm fine with that.
So, I'm sorry, 6 acres.
Not the ones though along Whitfield
Not
Road.
not the flag lots? But like from this
So from
line-
the dash 37, so 37, 38, 39, 40,
All those?
all those,
Yeah,
and then
from
the
17 on the other side.
and
so
the
from
the
here-
smaller ones on the other side. And then the 1.200 with the 2 lakes on it. And then I would,
no, the lakes, that was, some reason that stayed R2.
it doesn't make any sense if we're gonna change all the other stuff
How's it accessed?
off of.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't know why.
It's probably got an easement, or it's access from Marbletown.
No,
But the way-
long road.
The way it worked was these all stayed R2. This was all R5, and then here, looping down was R2. Stayed R2. I don't know why.
It's a long,
Is there a house up here?
there's.
Oh, there's definitely houses. There's a house on the one at the end of the road.
Yeah, the one with the lake has a house on it, and there's a long road that kind of goes back by the 69.1-137, goes all the way back
Did it access from Rochester or from Marlborough?
from Rochester, from Cliff Road.
And you can get it from Lower Belmont.
Yeah. But I think that if we're gonna change the others to R5, I think lakes should also.
Yeah.
I'm fine with
And Spring Drive.
And then the 1.110 also, I think, the big one right to the right of it should also be R5. But then the ones fronting Whitfield Road would stay R2. Because Whitfield is certainly much more accessible.
And,
Cliff-
and those flag lots.
And this makes sense, because Cliff Road is just, you know, if it's redeveloped, then we can always reconsider making it 2 acres. But for right now, Cliff Road is not, it's a private road and it's not up to town standards, so nobody can do this anyway. Well, they can subdivide, but they can't build on it.
Right.
So there's no reason to do it all, so. Okay, so we're gonna start with this one here and just kind of come diagonally down. Okay. Do you want to read me numbers, Michael, since you got the gist of it?
69.1-1-1.110. 69.1-1-1-1. It basically matches in the 200.
Okay. I mean, if you guys are comfortable with it, I can pick these up later, but I want to make sure we're all in agreement on which parcels we're doing changes, so.
68.2-2-13.200. 68.2-2-13.300. And the same thing, but .120.
So 68.2-2-13.120.
Same thing again, but
They were clearly all subdivided.
.100, .400.
$13.400.
Yep.
Okay.
And then 68.2-2-11 stays, so that we don't need.
Wait a minute, 11 is which one that stays?
68.2-2-11.
Where's that one?
It's the white one on your
It
screen.
almost looks like Alabama.
Oh, okay, I got it. So 14,
And so repeat that and then -14. Will be the next one,
so
68.
68-2-2-14, yeah.
68.2-2-16.100. 68, repeat that same thing and then stop 220. Repeat that same thing and it's .210.
These were obviously all sub.
And then 68.
2-16 what was the last one? I got 220.
And then 210.
Right, thank you.
And then 68.2.
Hang on, let me just cut and paste.
Well, this one's gonna be big.
Okay,
68.2-2-17.
Yep.
And then I don't think we did 69.1-1-40.
which one is 40?
Back up by the lakes.
Oh.
Right below the property of the lakes.
It should be. I would think that should go, the one right next to the lake should be R5.
Yeah.
Nothing off Cliff Road in this area, except maybe the flag lots.
Yeah, well, that's what.
So 40, 39, 38, and 37 all go to R5, right?
You got that?
So it's 69.1
I know.
dash 40.
Okay. That's right.
Good, yeah. Good, fine. Come to my house, that's where a psychopath lives. I see my, put it at 68 and I'm allowed it. So far.
Okay,
I do.
I can-
don't feel
I
like
can-
knocking.
I can turn it up, guys. With your call.
But
I already got my
just
propane tank, so
put
it works.
the- No?
Yeah, see?
I keep my house.
Still has the AC.
Well insulated.
Okay, so we've done through 37. Did we do the 68.2-2-17? Yes, we did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where we ended.
And we did the 18.
We didn't do 18 and 19, if you want to include those. Those were not, that was the cutoff for some reason, but we could include those.
I think we should include 18, 19. Actually, personally, I think we should include all the way, well,
You can access part of Cliff Road.
oh, you know what? Part of Cliff Road is public though. The 22, the 21 and the 20 are public.
Yeah.
Let's leave 18 and 19.
I think that was the rationale. Because I don't know what that little dash line is up there, but that may be where the public road.
No, it's not that far up.
No?
That little dash line is like a little private road goes in there. Okay. I think mission accomplished. Let me continue moving across Whitfield. The big parcel clearly should stay R5. The 1-5 is the racetrack. It has to stay R5 because it's the only place we allow racetracks. And then all this AR3 now, A3 is, now you might want to refer to the ag district map because a lot of those are in ag, but some of the little ones that are right by Winfield Corners are not in ag in the district. And the question is, do we want to pull any of those out? And the ones here up on Cooper Street as well, the 210, the 100, and the 220 are not in the ag district, and neither is the 13-100. So I don't know if we want to take them out of the A3 or just leave it as is because it's.
I mean, your proposal would be to put them R5. I'm inclined to just leave them A3. I think it's,
I'm fine with that.
I don't know how other people.
It makes sense
I'm fine
because
with that.
if you look at the ag overlay map, it's totally surrounded with ag properties, and it's being a large parcel. It lends itself to it. Probably could become ag down the road.
What are you talking about?
The whole green section there.
The 13.100, Aaron, the ones along Cooper Street. So these three,
Okay, I see.
and then the 13.100 underneath it. If you look at the ag overlay map,
Yeah.
none of them are in ag. None of them are in the county ag district. So the question was, do we leave them A3 or do we change them?
Now, this was all proposed A10. And
We're not doing A10.
I know, but so you do have a lot of wetlands here. That's an argument for making it R5.
Well, remember, since we changed the A3 rules, anything with soils has to go through conservation subdivision because that proposal didn't exist. So that was the rationale for getting rid of the A10.
Which did you say is in ag? 210, 100, 220, right?
No, the 210, the 100, the 220, and the 13.100 are not in ag. If you look at the overlay one that does just the ag,
That's not the one I spilled water on.
it's the one that doesn't have a label on it.
Too many maps here.
It's the one that doesn't have a label on the top, and it's got like two different color greens.
Yeah.
Because I think over by Winfield Corners, some of those smaller lots and the ones fronting 209, I think we should consider not making them ag unless we really want
We
to.
could do that.
Okay, so the dot, what's the other one that you're saying is not in ag district? I see the dot 100 is not.
The 4 on the left.
The three above the White Road and that front Cooper Street area,
And then the one
right at the
below.
town
I
boundary.
yeah.
Oh,
But-
So the 5.220, 5.100, 5.210. Those three are just residential lots.
And this one's not in ag.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah,
So we could make those
flood-
R5.
That's what I was proposing as making. those up.
FEMA flood zone runs right through those, and the big one is like a flood zone.
Okay, so you got the flood map if you want to
More
look
reason,
at it.
more reason for R5.
Yeah. And
Okay,
the
so make those
others,
4 R5.
I'm fine with that.
yeah, and the freshwater wetlands runs through those 4 properties.
Yeah, if you look at the floodplain overlay, absolutely, it runs right through them. Heck, you can almost make a justification for PL ten,
Yeah,
but
Is that still part of the Bly?
no, the Bly is,
No, it's,
the Bly is way over in the purple section. If you look at the floodplain overlay map, Michael, the Bly will jump out at you,
yeah, no, I see the
big wet area on the map there.
they're all. Yeah, they're all over 10 acres.
Okay, we got it.
I
And
could,
two of those parcels are vacant,
well,
according to person.
do we want to go R5 or we want to go PL ten? I think one or the other. Leaving it A3 probably isn't appropriate. Because they're
I think
really-
R5 is fine.
I think so too, because it's on an existing.
The water's gonna limit what you can build there anyway.
Right.
Well, yeah.
You
That
can't
one,
really get
can't
across.
really do much, that 50-acre one. Really can't.
Is that the
Well, it's
point
got-
100?
Yeah,
It's got access via Cooper Street though.
I know, but it
Two
has,
axes. Yeah, but the amount of flood on it
yeah,
that I'm seeing on the map.
Well, that's the flooding itself is gonna limit any development anyway. It's sort of a free, because the building if you want to build in the flood zone, you gotta build the 3-acre standard anyway.
Yeah,
so-
you have at least 15 acres that aren't buildable.
Yeah.
I guess you could, is that a road there? What's that road?
That road doesn't,
That transect.
that is a road, but it's not really. It's a paper street. It doesn't continue all the way through. It's
You could access the back of the property.
it's on a subdivision map, but
but the back of the properties.
That's where it floods,
Oh,
that, the map is that, it like is on the curve.
Alright, R5? PL 10.
I think R5 is fine.
R5 is.
I mean, it is a serious flood area, so I think the floodplain area is gonna limit it anyway, so. Okay, so those 4,
What's that stream now? What is that stream?
The Cooper Street.
Cooper Street stream?
okay,
It's not a
who wants to read me numbers here? Start with 69.1-2-5,
5,
210.
6, 9.
Oops,
Got
wait,
100
sorry.
and got 220.
1 second, I forgot the dot one. I'm behind the rules. Tell me, I can't find that property.
Talking smack.
That's the start of the.
How warm is that jacket?
What?
2-5.
It's not that one, but it's just sort of we read on the side now.
Give them
I
majority.
tried shoving 10 sweaters on it.
I'm not ready.
Okay,
You're
and then
throwing down a gauntlet already? Adam's
No, I'm just saying.
not even cold yet.
Who's not cold?
He's talking about throwing down smack next year.
I was like, you know, Jordan, sure we brought this back.
Yeah, it's the first time that.
Maybe I'll join that majority.
Ooh, spice. I support.
Go with that.
okay, so those are currently A3,
It's red all the time.
and we're going to R5.
Hmm?
The 5-acre 209 sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get rid of this, we know what's going on. It's.
Hey,
It's very cute.
when it's on a 24 by
Oh, yeah,
48
you
map.
can't really see it on here.
Oh, no, yeah, you can't see.
Okay, so moving across now to the other non-ag district properties in this area by Winfield Corners Road. Do we want to change any of those from A3 to either R2 or R5 or? Or even R1, which we have on the other side of 209. Or do we leave them alone?
I would leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
We want to get these little ones that are on 209. There's really no reason for them to remain.
Didn't we work down 209 right?
Yeah.
We
I
did.
think you're in the ag district.
We did, but we didn't change them. They're not in the ag district according to the ag map. And he pulled the county overlay and he assured me it's 100% accurate.
We did those, why did we not? What is the?
Well,
what is that?
So we talked about that part of 209, but I was just making notes and I may have missed those when we were making notes. So don't assume that we didn't change it and I missed it, or that we didn't change it. We may have changed it and I missed it.
Gosh, seven?
That's where we started with. Those were the very first.
That was the very first day, and remember I was like jotting down notes and was not in a great system yet. So those two little ones staying A3 make no sense to me. I would make them R1, so we got R1 right across the street.
They're both 1 acre.
Yeah. They're both 1 acres and they have a house on them, so it really doesn't matter. We could leave them, but it just kind of doesn't make sense.
Where are you?
It's Winfield.
The two little ones,
We said AB3.
AB3, we did.
That's what the committee said.
Oh, well,
So is
they're
there-
residential though.
They are.
So why AB3 makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, the committee had made basically that whole strip to AB3.
I know. I know, but
So make them residential.
yeah. Somebody want to read me the numbers?
Is the red business?
Red is business. So that's the storage area and the dog grooming place. And then the other question is, this one here, and I may have missed it. Should that one be, we made all these R2 on our last Saturday meeting.
Yeah, I think you did make that.
That one should also be R2? I believe so too. I need to just zoom out to get these numbers unless somebody can read them.
That's the
Which one for the one that,
I want to get the two little ones there on Winfield. So 69.3-2-7. 3-2-7 and 8. And they're changing from A3 to R1. And then that next one, I think I missed. This one here. We want to make that R2 like that whole strip. Because that whole strip was A3, but we decided on the Saturday meeting to make all that R2.
So what are you asking?
This one here, we also want it to be R2.
Yeah.
I think that was just my notes. So that's 69.
What about the flag lot? Is that also?
The flag lot is in the, this one here?
Yeah.
That's in the ag district with these.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we left that one alone. We made these 3, but we left that one alone. And then the corner lot that's empty and the one right next to it, we made them AB3. Because they were both owned by the same owner and we thought there might be at some point combined. They clearly were combined at one time because they're the same number. Okay, so 69. 3 dash 3 dash 1.112. Okay, then moving over, let me zoom back out a little bit. So then this, we've got the school, we changed these parcels along Kings Highway, the smaller ones to R2. And then there's this whole section along Kaiserreich that is A3. The little tiny ones here are not in the ag district. I don't know if we want to consider changing them or just leave it alone. And then the brown is the rail trail. This one here is Williams Lumber. I don't know, it doesn't really make sense to change Williams Lumber to business because it's kind of there by itself.
Which is Williams?
Williams is the 60, I think this one is Williams, the 69.4, it is, because I see the driveway there. 69.4-2-31 is Williams. The one right next to it is residential, and that's where the rail trail stops and starts. And that's where we have an issue with no easement, but it's right along the power lines run right through there.
Yeah, we left that all.
I think we should just leave it all AR3 or A3,
Yeah.
including Williams. There's no reason to change Williams to anything else.
And then those big ones. These were all proposed going A10.
Right.
Yeah, but
I don't know if that's R5 or we want to.
no, because they're all in the ag district. They should just stay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The rest of all those are in the ag district. The only ones that we might want to consider changing are these little ones down here at the, these little ones at the corner of Kaiserreich and Lucas that are definitely residential, that are not, they're not ag properties, but sort of this whole cluster here. I don't know if we want to, it's along Lucas, it's along a county road, so it would make sense to make them R2. I mean, this cluster here is ag and this cluster here is ag, the big ones. But all these little ones that directly access Lucas, I wouldn't have any problem with making them R2.
I mean, the proposal was leave it alone, but you're saying like the little cluster along Lucas down by Kirby Lane.
All these here, and then the ones on the other side of Kaiserreich, these two little parcels here, the ones that all front Lucas. They're all residential. They're not being used as farmland.
They
all have houses.
They all have houses
the
on them.
little ones, but not like those big parcels on.
No, I'm not. The big ones are in the ag district.
Yeah, okay.
And they're all.
Wait, are you only saying the ones by, so across from where Pompey State lets out, you're only saying on the right-hand
I'm
side?
saying, let me zoom in.
The.
I'm talking about at the intersection of Kaiserreich and Lucas. So these two here, not up by Pompey's
No,
Gate.
that's what I'm asking. I'm just
Yeah,
making
I
sure
would
it's only
say
the
leave
right side of
them-
Pompey State
them-
we're talking.
Leave them A3, but these two here, and then this one across the street here, and then moving down, not the big lot here, but then moving down these smaller ones.
I mean, are any of those 4
Those what?
acres? Can they even be subdivided if they're 2? Yeah, I mean, we can make them 2.
Yeah, they probably can't be subdivided at all, so we don't have to do anything. The difference is the uses that are allowed on A3 versus the uses that R2 is more restricted, that you can't do a lot of uses other than residential. With A3, we run the risk of some other use coming in that we may not want on those
Like you can
properties.
do animal husbandry on R2.
You can do animal husbandry on R2, you can do non-animal agriculture on R2.
Yeah.
So I would
I'm fine
propose
changing it.
all these small lots along here change. And rather than you guys sitting here waiting while I get them all, let's just get a stopping point.
Yeah, the ones on the. on your screen, in the upper left-hand corner, have the ag district cutting through those.
Yeah,
parcels.
so what I would do is anything that is in the ag district along there, leave that,
Oh, sorry, I have the floodplain. on there. Hold on,
Yeah.
Sorry.
some of them are indeed in the ag district, Aaron. What I would say is any that are in the ag district, we leave them alone.
I support the
Actually,
small
most
ones.
of these down here are indeed in the ag district.
Yeah.
It's just the stuff right at the intersection, at the four
Yes.
corners of Lucas and Kaiserreich.
Yeah, let's rezone those.
The ones that aren't in the ag district.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna make a note. I'll pick it up tomorrow. You'll see the Tom's new product, and then, so I'm just gonna say Lucas, Kaiserreich intersection, not in ag district. So. It's gonna become from A3 to R2. Okay, I got a note for it. And then moving on over to the rest of the town over there. Think we're all okay over there. Now the question remains, these big lots here, actually, we talked about this the other day on Cherry Hill Road. We want them to stay R5, I think. Okay. So that covers everything there. So I'm gonna move down. And we'll just move back across the map. I think we're good in the PL10. We're good in all the R2 stuff there. Algerville is pretty much, the hamlet of Algerville is all R1.
That protected forest, why did that one say or go PL?
So that is the one that Wildland owns. And they do their day camp there.
Okay. Is it in conservation?
It's not, and we put it in the PL10, but I'm not sure that we need to.
What was it, 5?
Aaron, can you look up that property and just see what the use of it is? It's a big property, and at one point somebody wanted to build a retreat center there, but then Wildlands bought it.
That's the 110.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we looked that up, on Saturday.
yeah, but the question is, should it be PL10 and we never really sort of, I think, answered the question, but.
It's, what was the question? That you want me to answer with looking it up? It's 60 acres.
What's the use of the property listed in there?
That just got subdivided. That's the lot we just did a 4-lot subdivision.
Oh, well, there you go. Thank you for that information.
That needs to be our file.
Yeah, I'd leave it. If it was R5, I would leave it R5.
What is it on the current zoning map?
On the current zone.
It's gotta be
It's a-
How are you doing that so fast on your phone? Oh, you just have them on.
5. I don't know if you
I have
know
an app for that.
our planning board chair, but kind of a big deal.
The easier way is if you pull up the detail in the.
Yeah, the detail,
No, I don't mean on the overlay. If you click on the parcel details.
so that one is R5.
Okay, so we want to make that back to R5. So it's 77.2 dash 4 dash.
Yeah. You're so sweet.
5, that's
And that was, we changed it to PL10, but we're gonna make it back to R5.
I mean, you can keep it 10 acres if you want, because it can't be subdivided again, and each lot is greater than 10 acres.
It doesn't make any sense to make it PL10 because it's sort of by itself. It's in its own world there. It's,
R5 is,
yeah, it's fine as R5.
it's in R5.
Okay. Now, so moving back to the left,
Well, those little guys,
the little guys here,
yeah, those are all R5.
they're all R5 because that whole stretch along between the creek there, that's the creek where Depot is as you move down. That's Towpath Road. Yeah. And right before the bridge, there's where the Rock Creek comes down. We could make them R2, but it doesn't make any sense. It's the Petersgill. I said where the creek comes down the rocks,
Oh,
plural there, emptying out into the Rondout. I think leaving them all R5 is just fine. That's what they are now. So we'll move back across here. This is where we added the one business there. That's the Stonehouse property. I don't see any issues there. This group of R5 and then this little group of A, is that little group of A in the ag district? It's Bakertown and Lang. It's in between Bakertown and Lang. Yeah, the answer is on those little ones, they are in the ag district. The one that isn't, the 1-6 is not in the ag, but 5 and 26 are in the ag district. But I don't think making 1-6 R5 makes any sense, and we definitely don't want to make it R2. Did we miss a parcel there?
Wait, 1-6?
The 68.2-1-6. It's that cluster of 3 ag properties. Just moving left, but your layout is different than mine, so you're not moving left like I am.
The one is,
And
the rest are R2.
Mike, that gap is not a property.
yeah.
no, it's not. I realize you're correct, Aaron. The long skinny one on the right is not in the ag district. So it's just the 1-5 is in the ag district.
And the 2, that one, the rectangle,
The -1-6.
yeah, I think that one's in R, hold on, let me.
I don't think it is an R5. I think it's in.
I think it's R2.
Really? Well, we didn't change this one. We didn't change any of these, and Tom
2-1-6 is landlocked.
took it straight off the
Okay.
existing zoning.
They're
So
the same color, so I'm having trouble.
the problem is they use the same color for, yeah. It's Parcel Viewer is not a great place to look at ag districts.
Okay.
But the question is, do we want to make it R5? R2 is not appropriate. It's
Right.
landlocked as it is. But do we want to leave it as A3 or do we want to make it R5? I think leaving it as A3 is fine, being that it borders the ag property.
I think R5.
68.2-1-6. The rectangle in the ag, in this cluster of 3 ag properties.
I wouldn't mind making R5. It says it's private forest.
Okay, it says private forest, let's make it R5. Okay, so,
So it was AR3, but we're making it R5.
correct. 68.2-1-6.
And what are those little, that's like. What are the gaps? The cul-de-sac?
Gaps are actually roads.
Okay.
I mean, somebody owns it, but the roads are just marked out there. So it was A3 and it's becoming R5. So then the next question is the long skinny one to the right, the 1-26. Do we want to also make that R5? It also looks to me to be landlocked.
Yeah, and it's vacant.
Are you guys okay with that?
Talking about cul-de-sacs over here.
I understand. Are you okay though if we make the 1-26 R5 as well? The long skinny one? It's not in the ag district.
I'm okay.
Okay.
And it's, the white is also R5, so we're connected.
Yes.
So 68.2 dash,
1-26.
thank you. Now moving, and then the rest of the R5 ones there, we're gonna leave all alone, right? As R5?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have a discrepancy on the left side of Lang Road there. See dot 112 where the big water is? That property crosses both sides of the road. It's all one SBL.
Oh, sometimes the zones split.
We did sometimes split. I think we split that one, Mark, because of the lake being on the one side. And the other part we thought could be developed. So we do have some split lots. It's not
It's
just
difficult when
totally
it comes to the planning board because.
understood, but the road divider is a clear divider.
Understood.
Yeah, no, it's just, yeah, we did split some because it could be developed. So. That's exactly why we did that. When we talked about it there, so. There is a little teeny tiny one though, up above the L on Lang. That I'm seeing by itself, and I think we missed that one. That should probably be R2 as well. And it doesn't matter because it's probably not 4 acres. You see where I'm talking
Yeah.
about? It's that really irregular shaped one. It's kind of shaped like a thumb.
Yeah,
That's not making a difference.
Yeah,
That,
it's not a square
It's
parcel.
perfect.
It's a perfect shape.
I'm sorry, the one.
The little tiny one just above the.
Little
yeah.
tiny one above
that
the
one.
letter L.
It's got a house on
Yeah, it is. See? Aaron and I are on the same page. Yeah. Should we make that R2?
What time?
yes,
You guys need a break.
Can somebody
Yes.
give me the SPL
That
number?
would be 68.2-1-4.
68.2-1-4.
Dot 200.
And that currently is R5. And it's becoming R2. And be glad we're not doing what we did the first time, was rezoning the entire town.
I'm sure Michael would have a lot to say if we did that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I
I need a lot road.
moving back across now, along by Fawn Lane, the ones here, these little lots along, what road is that? That's Queens Highway, isn't it? Yeah, it's Queens Highway.
Yes.
The question is, why are those R5? I don't know the answer. Yeah, that's exactly where it is. It's Lee Park.
The water behind it is. There's water behind it. They might have just got swept up.
I don't think the R5 is the existing. We didn't change it.
Yeah.
The question is why, yeah, but I don't know why they are, unless there was wetlands there. I don't know if Aaron, if you could turn on the wetlands overlay and see if there's wetlands in there. Because there is a little stream there.
Oh, yeah, there
Yes,
is.
It's wetland.
It's all wetlands?
Yeah.
Never mind. We're moving on.
Big wetlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the.
I could, if we really want
Every
to,
parcel.
I probably have, no, I don't, it's on my first computer. I have the original zoning map with the wetland overlay on
Got my own wetland over there.
it. Yeah. Will you be that way? Okay, so these other big parcels along Plains Highway, we want to keep them R5, correct? But then we have this one little one here.
It's not-
Kind of looks like a pants leg.
Oh,
Okay.
60.3, you see where I'm talking about? 60.3-2-2-220. Should that be R2?
It's wet.
Never mind then.
Sorry.
That's why it's R5. It's a wet pant leg. I think the rest of this all R5 all makes sense, and we'll leave those alone. The Brazil Heights and all that. Do we want to make any of these other R2 ones into R5? Brazil Heights is not a nice road.
no, that's what I was thinking.
But if we make one side of the road, we probably should do the other side, and the other side is very small parcels.
No, I think we leave it,
We'll leave it alone?
leave it
Okay.
alone.
This next cluster of R5 is all, I remember is wet.
Via field.
Yep. And then those two on Saw Pit Road, they were, that was previous, so I'm gonna assume it was a water issue.
What was the Brazil Heights? That's currently R5?
Yeah, no, it's
No, it's
R,
R2.
part of it's R2. Yeah.
And those bigger parcels are like mine.
The bigger parcels are the ones at the end of Brazil Heights.
Yep, those three on the bottom there, they're two.
These three on the bottom
No,
here.
no, the other on the right. Three at the end, under the big
Over here?
parcel, yeah, that's all R2, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could change that to R5, the whole sort of group there. If we follow that straight line, it would make sense because that road is in,
I don't know that
Terrible.
road. Yeah,
oh, it's
they're-
awful.
Oh
It's
my
nothing but rock,
Yeah.
and it's not maintained well, and quite honestly,
Are there houses on
It's all the same owner. It's all.
there are houses on it, yeah, there's a bunch of houses, but there's a single house on all these big lots.
But it's a town road?
I don't,
No, Brazil Heights.
no, it's a private.
So if a subdivision did happen, they would have to do a road improvement?
Yes,
for it.
correct. I think it was originally, I mean, this is not a new change, this was done originally that way, but you could make an argument that they could all become R5. At least down to this end, I would say these smaller ones on the end probably could stay R2. But you could make an argument that all these all across here should become R5 and the same over on this side.
Yeah,
I mean, I
they're
don't
all
know,
over, 7 acres.
it could be a little subdivision.
Well, if somebody, the road is there, it would need major improvement, but if somebody wanted to subdivide, they would have to improve the road,
And it's
so.
very hilly.
It is, it's a hill up. But it's also, it's not a bad area to build on if they could,
Yeah.
so. Let's leave it alone, unless somebody makes a really strong compelling argument to change
I
it.
think you can, if it's just that the road's bad. It's.
Yeah, that's improvable. Okay, so. Moving down.
What are we gonna do with Jaegerville?
We haven't gotten that far yet. Now, these little parcels, we talked about these already on Upper Cherrytown, right? We're gonna leave them on
Yes,
five?
we are leaving.
Yes. And everything else around it, we made into PL path. Over in this little cluster here, we didn't talk about these, I don't think. You've got these two little tiny parcels here. And then you got the one big one. The one big one, we could probably leave R5, but it doesn't matter with the other ones. They're so small, they're probably less than an acre as it is.
They're currently R5 and then.
What happened was, they were part of all this PL 10 was R5, and when it all became PL 10, we just didn't do anything with this one parcel here.
So those are all,
They're all vacant.
The big one, the 24/100, looks like it's got water issues.
That one,
that's good.
has no property details.
That one's got a house on
It doesn't, I mean, the stream kind of cuts along the bottom.
no property found? How is that possible?
it. Yeah, right, it's good.
Yeah, it's
I'm
just,
clicking on the parcel.
there's no data, there's
and
no
there's
data for it. That happens sometimes in parcel viewer.
The other, those three are,
Oh, I see what you're.
it doesn't make any sense because the larger one says it's 1.8 acres and the smaller triangle says it's 2.2.
See that too.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't understand. There is a Bermuda Triangle
There is.
effect happening.
The question is, the two little tiny ones, do we wanna just make them R2 like everything else around them? We can leave the 24/100, or we can just leave all three of them R5 and move on. Cause they're never gonna be dividable, and they're not big enough that anybody's gonna do anything with them that allowable in an R5 anyway. It's not suddenly gonna build a public school or a private school there.
You need a helicopter to get in there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there is an airport at the other end of,
Oh, and it's in the flood zone.
okay,
that
let's
whole-
just leave them alone then.
the flood zone.
Now, over at the corner,
Oh, like I'm the first one that I changed.
so this one that's R5 at the corner of Scroon Hill Road was probably R5 for a reason. Cause that's not a new change, that's an old change.
That
Corner
one.
of Scroon Hill and Swabi. Has it got water there? Probably got water, is why it's R5. My guess is it's got wetlands on it.
Private forest,
Okay, let's just leave it alone then.
which I don't know what private forest means.
Private forest means it has they get a exemption
In forestry program.
for the New York State Forestry Program for timber harvesting, but in an organized,
Gotta be over 50 acres though.
I don't believe so.
So that one has a national wetland
On it.
It does?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, that's probably why.
I think you have to be 50 plus acres to do timber coverage.
Maybe federal, but not state, I don't think. I don't think you can have a house on it. I don't believe you can have a house on a timber, private forest.
So, the slope.
So there's one little parcel here on Queens Highway. I'm betting that's a split parcel, but guys, we're not gonna get done if we. The one on Queens Highway here is a split parcel. So my guess is that's a water issue. The 68.1-2-11-120.
Dash or dot one, is it dot one?
Dot 120, sorry.
Whoa,
Or was it two, you know what it was? It was two lots that were merged. That's what it is.
It's one lot.
Yeah, but the reason it's got a split zoning designation is that probably when we did the last zoning map, it was two different lots and they merged them. So the question is, should the whole lot become R5 or should the whole lot become R2?
It's not even 5 acres.
Then we probably should make it R5.
yeah, well, it's, yeah.
But that's what happened there. That's why we have a split zoning district on that, because somebody did a merger of two lots that were neighboring. And one was R2 and one was R5. So somebody want to read me that number?
Talking about the one inside the high heel boot over there?
It says 68
Yes.
dot one
I'm sorry. I was answering Michael there, 68.1.
-2 -11 .120.
Like anywhere inside.
So it's currently R2/R5, and we're gonna make it all R5. Okay,
I know.
And where left goes.
I think all these R5s here, that's all water and it's wetlands. I remember there's wetlands in that area. We're off Medica Hunts. Yeah, that's all wet there. So we don't want to change any of that.
Is blue industrial?
Blue is industrial. That's the old Snapple, which is now for sale. I saw it for sale sign out the other day with the drove by.
New town hall,
Don't use,
Snapple sponsored.
don't use snap.
Okay. Think all these R5s along towpath make sense. Now, what I did with the Deep Hole property is the Deep Hole side, we made it PL10, and the other side, we left it R5. And the owner, actually, the new owner, actually talked to me, and what he wants to protect the Deep Hole side, so he loved the fact that we PL10, but he did want to leave himself some options on the other side, so I think it makes sense.
Is the other side where the parking is then?
Correct.
Well, I don't think we left it for him. We had already.
Correct. We had already made that, but he was in agreement with how we did it, and not.
And all members of the public who are having their properties changed will get a chance to weigh in.
Yes.
Yeah.
There'll be a public hearing on all this. Everybody whose property is being changed will get a letter telling them that their property is being changed. And the phone will start ringing. My point was the PL10 was somewhat requested of a more restrictive zoning. Because there's a desire to put it in the conservation. And he's also it's also being considered to be separated into 2 parcels. Okay, so now moving on down. I think we've already talked at length about all these Whole Valley Road ones, so we don't need. What I want to do, Aaron, though, is get to the ones here that we changed to R5 along here, along Hawksview and the Rock Hill Road area here. I want to make sure I changed all the ones to R5 that we intended, or did I miss any? Because I couldn't remember exactly what we want to do along the ones that are along towpath here. Because we changed these all up here from A3 to R5.
Right.
The question was, do we want to change any of these? Because I don't think any of them are actually in the ag district.
That one.
Well, actually, I take that back. Some of them are indeed in the ag district.
Yeah, I think that we looked at the.
We did, but we didn't, I didn't take notes as parcel by parcel. I kind of took a note of a starting and an ending point. And I just want to make sure that what I did was what you guys thought I was doing. Or what I did was what you guys intended for me to do. Like this one, the 19.110, I wasn't sure if that one, and the one on the corner here, the 0.113, I wasn't sure if they want to become R5 as well.
Is that the other side of Rockville?
We left those on purpose.
Okay,
Yeah, I
And
remember that.
and that's a fine answer. I wasn't sure.
I recognize.
I don't know what you mean by the other side of Rockville.
That's not the one that, yeah, it's like there's a section down here and then there's a gap.
I know the cluster that we kept, A3 there,
Okay,
we did that on purpose.
okay. And I'm fine with that. I just want to make sure I did it properly compared to what you guys remembered. And then this big one, the 3-25, did that one that one is in the ag district then. Yeah.
That was definitely in the.
That one is not in the ag district, but it is fields.
Okay.
That's like.
Yeah.
So we'll leave that one in the ag district then. Okay,
Yes.
so then what I
In
did
the ag
was,
zone.
yeah, so what I did was correct. Good to know.
There's another little section of Rockville that's not connected to the main.
Yeah, when I scroll back, since if I go down now, then I'm gonna lose track of where we
That's
are.
what I was asking.
Yeah. This is the second part. There's the section of Rock Hill that comes off of Lawrence Hill.
Right.
And then there's the one that connects
That's
to
what I was asking.
Towpath. Yeah. But most of those down by Lawrence Hill are in the ag district. We did have discussion about this one AB3 property that we left AB3, correct? We changed everything around it to Hamlet, but it's a landlocked parcel and it's used in agriculture.
Why was it AB?
Well, all this Hamlet stuff was originally A3. And we remember we expanded the Hamlet.
Or why did you make it a business?
It was AB3 already.
Oh, it was.
That whole corridor, it's, we didn't want to mention names,
Okay, yeah, I got it.
but it's next to a business.
Yeah.
It's a vacant field next to a business. It's not landlocked? I thought it is. It connects to the parcel next to it, which is a business. But we made all that Hamlet. I just wanted to be sure that that one just wanted to stay AB3 because it's not, doesn't front 209 like the other ones did. This whole group here off of that's off of Medicahans. Oh, that's all water issues there. That's all in floodplain from that stream, and so that's appropriate to stay. Aaron, when we get near that property that we need to change, let me know.
Okay.
There's one R2 that we have to change to A.
It is a little, like, if you look at the map.
Have
it's a
I-
little hole.
I'm probably not, I don't think I'm there yet. I'm at Boodle Hole, so we haven't gotten there yet. And then all this. And just an FYI, I discovered that the town owns a piece of property at the intersection of Queens Highway and
Rochester Center.
Rochester Center. That I didn't know we owned.
Sell it.
It's vacant. Well, I may propose that in come January, that we start that process of selling it because the only reason we own it is
4 acres.
the only reason we own it is that at one time. Yeah,
It's like this.
It's on Rochester Center, the center of Rochester, I'm wrong.
You need a
Apparently
helicopter.
it's a steep incline.
Very
We
it's
could
a very
build it-
steep.
we
It's
could
not
build it in
probably
some
not
side
built.
of it.
And then your doomsday bunker also.
That would be
That would be,
perfect.
I
Heard
would,
it here
I would
first.
get behind that.
And that's the lot for
The board?
Yes.
It'll
Only-
be,
Only the lone survivor.
it'll be our, yeah, he's not on the island.
Yes.
That could be our secret command
To keep.
center.
keep-
So secret
That's
that
what
we are
we do
broadcasting.
You didn't even know that it's
We're broadcasting
Town
it on
running.
YouTube.
Inside the
I didn't even know we owned it until I did this process.
our super secret spot that no one will know about.
The skid, it's our skid.
Okay,
Okay,
guys, there is this little one at the end of Cherry Lane, which is R5 by itself.
where's that?
Um,
Oh, that one.
Yeah, because we made all these big ones PL10. I would propose that we also make that one PL10, or we make it R2, one or the other, but we don't leave it R5 by itself.
5, 9.
PL10 would actually make sense because it's Cherry Lane is a dead end road and. But I could make a justification for R2 as well.
59 dash.
Oh, dash?
Yeah.
That's weird.
59-1-57.
One that's shaped like a box of Cheerios.
Wait till you get to the dot dashes.
I know, we already did those, but it's, you know.
Yeah.
It's not coming up for me.
Do you move the cursor on your?
It's a dot dash.
Is it a dot dash?
Oh, it is a dot dash, yeah.
It's a 59 dot dash one, yeah.
So that one. It does not have road frontage.
Doesn't at the end of Cherry Lane?
No,
It's clearly a part of this original subdivision here, because it's 59-1-58,
there
that's
was-
57.
Neighboring owner on at dot 7.
I think it's appropriate to make it PL
It's
10.
it's 3 acres, maybe feel that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not gonna do anything with it, so it's
You can't subdivide it to make it R2.
59 dot
Yeah.
dash, right?
that little bit.
And they-
59 dot dash.
Dash
Dash
57.
Even.
It's R5, and we're gonna make it PO.
Dash 7.
It's surrounded by state land too. I don't know why the state doesn't own that. but they own it.
It's listed with different owners.
Okay, so now we're back on Upper Cherrytown. I think we already talked about keeping all these little parcels R5 anyway, even though they're never gonna be subdivided. They're all less than an acre, so. it makes no sense. And let me just make sure that there's no holes. No holes. There's your Jaegerville. We're getting to it, Michael.
Yeah,
What's happening in
somebody's getting to it. Not from the town of Rochester for sure.
Nope. You gotta leave the county. Not even from Ulster County can you get to Jaegerville.
County got there.
You can hike it.
That's true.
Is that how you got there?
You can go through Trails End.
You guys gonna say you can go through Trails End? I got stuck there during
Still?
Hurricane Sandy.
Oh, yeah. Road goes all the way through.
I didn't think you could go through there anymore.
You go through the.
You gotta look the
Prius
trail.
now.
You can also hike. to-
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice and flat.
No.
Yeah,
once had to jump that bridge in a Lincoln Chevy.
not anymore.
Get through there.
Not anymore.
It's just
Those
a good
days are
cheap-
over.
good
On the other
cheap
side,
trail.
they did a really good job of bringing that all nice.
There's a couple of houses and cabins along there that, hunting cabins.
Tenenbaum used to have Tenenbaum.
That
Okay,
was a great
so,
place to
Had
take
one
a
of
Jeep.
Lunch's.
you know?
those two little ones here along Clay Hill, that's water issues. Oh, no, City Hall, not Clay Hill, City Hall. Aaron, I think I may have just, did I just
It's,
pass?
go down.
Okay, well, let me keep going left to right, because I don't wanna go down until we get past all this stuff. This is the only way we're sure we don't miss a parcel. And I'm sure there'll be something we zone wrong. These, at the end of Rock Hill Road, we said we wanted to leave all.
Yeah.
All those white ones are gonna stay white, R5, right, okay. And then the ones along Clove Valley. Why is this big one, the 11.110? Why did that one not go PL10? Do you wanna look up that number? Maybe I may have missed it, or maybe it's not owned by. It may not be, because all the other stuff are owned by OSI. It might be,
It's landlocked.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
What is it? Is it privately owned or OSI?
It's privately owned.
Okay. It's not private forest or
It
anything?
is private forest.
It is private forest. So let's make that one PL10 then, just to match everything that's around it, which is OSI land or Mohawk land. Okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's 77.4 dash. Do we want to read it?
1-1.
1 dash.
11.110.
And that is R5 and we're making it PL10. Okay. At the end of the day, we're changing almost 600 parcels. About 600 out of 4,800, so about an eighth of them.
That's inclusive of one PL.
Yes. About 12 or 13%. But yes, that's including all the PLs. Which a lot of them are owned by the state of New York. Okay.
Good night, all.
Good night, Mark.
Have a good night.
Second.
Okay, here, Aaron, here's where I need your help. There is a single parcel here that is in the ag district and it's R2 and we need to change it.
Is it on our ag map?
Yes, it is. It is 76.2-4-5.100. It's the one at the corner of High Meadow and Maple Lane. And it was added into the ag district since the last zoning map was done. So, and it also, right across the street is also A3, so it makes sense to make it A3.
Which one?
This one right here, where the word high is. Right here. It's ag, and it right directly diagonally across the street is all ag. These little ones are all residential.
All right.
But we should not have an R2 property that's an ag district property in R2, so. It jumped out at
I'm
me.
trying to, is that industrial?
So you can have the use there.
Should I be? Do you have ambitions?
Let's think about that.
Let me get the number here. 76, can somebody read it?
0.2
.2.
-4 -5.100.
It's currently R2, and it's becoming A3. Okay. Here you go. Let me zoom back out. I zoomed in. Let me zoom out a little bit more so we can go a little quicker here. And we already talked about those R5 ones, so we don't need to talk about them. This whole section up here in Yeagerville, making it R2. That's what it is now. We made the state land around it our PL10 and left everything else R2. But the state land used to be R5 and it was R2, so didn't change anything. Where are those? Yeah, so that whole area along Granite, we want to leave it R5, right? Yeah. there's a 5 acre 44 as well. And then, so. Now, this is what I did with this one property. This is split. This was the one that had a little bit of R1, and then the big part was A3, and then this one. So it's all either A3 or across the street is R5.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about.
Yeah.
And then we changed this one because that's in the ag district. And we have all those. And these should probably stay R5 up here. They're not state owned, but everything surrounding the state.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're almost done here, guys.
Yeah.
Let me move back to this section of town here.
Florida of the town of Rochester.
I was just about to see, yeah, Florida.
Yeah. This is the boot.
The Lake Okeechobee.
There's one parcel down here that I caught that is stayed R5. And it probably is accessible from the next town over. My guess is it probably should have become 84.-1-1.
Dot dash.
Dot dash. They should have made them 84.0 at least, at the very least.
The dashes and dots.
Yeah. The dashes are the separation from section, block, and lot. So the first number is the section, but there's sections got
That's State Park.
subsections. That's eight, so I missed it.
State Park.
So that's 84. 84 dot dash 1 dash 1. That's R5, and we're gonna make it. Okay, done. Wasn't too painful. Okay, so now that that's been done, I'm gonna get that to Tom Hines. He'll get us new zoning maps by next week. He'll take this and make it into an actual zoning map with these new changes. So based on that, yeah, that's what I'm asking. So the Town of Rochester Town Board sets a public hearing. Local law 14 of 2023 amendment to the zoning map being held Thursday, November 30th, 2023, immediately following the public hearing on local law 13 at the Harold Clifton Community Center, 15 Tobacco Road, Akron, New York, 12404. Request the town clerk circulate public notice.
Make that motion.
Second.
Should we say, amendment to the zoning map as presented and amended?
Sure.
That motion as amended.
So I want to make sure this is pretty significant change, and it's obviously spanning the Thanksgiving holiday. So do you know when the notices are gonna go out?
Yep, so as soon, we're all closed tomorrow. I'm gonna email this list to him tomorrow, though. On Monday, he will make these changes. He will make the new zoning map. He also told me that he is able to take these SBLs and link them to both the name of an owner and an address, mailing address through his programs. And he will create the labels for me. So they will go out by midweek next week, which will be 2 weeks before the public hearing.
Okay.
So everybody will get ample notice.
And we'll put them on the website.
Yep.
The map.
The maps will go up on the website. They'll go up on the website and they're under the Eco 360. There'll also be PDFs linked to the notice of the public hearing. So anybody can just click on that and get links to the maps as well. And he's able to write a letter of dear, he's able to insert it in instead of just saying, I was gonna just send a list that people would have to find their SBL and see what they were changing to. He will be able to, with his software, say, dear so-and-so, your property is changing from this zoning district to this zoning district.
Like a phone, it'll be like a phone.
I wonder if, should we post not the names, but the list of addresses as part of the announcement? To make it easier for people, so that, like, this, an SBL, not everyone's gonna know what that.
I can do an attachment, but everybody will get that individual letter in the mailbox.
Yeah. Because in some cases, the mailbox, and it'd be good to clarify with him, is he gonna send it? Because
He's not sending it, we are.
But is he gonna use the posted address of the owner, or is he gonna use the?
No, we're gonna
address of
use,
the town?
no, we're using the mailing address.
Some of them are not in the town.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
like,
no,
we're-
the mailing address will be the address that it made up. Not the mailing address is the address where their tax bills go to.
Yeah,
So we will be sending this notice to the address where their tax bills are mailed.
I just wanna make sure people have enough time.
Understood.
The holiday.
Understood. But we also, if we don't do this, then the moratorium expires and we're in limbo for a period of time until we get it done.
Well, we'll have the public hearing and we'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
So just a time frame. So now that this is done, the public hearing for all three, the zoning subdivision, and I only gave Michael because I forgot to give it to you guys. I have printouts of the subdivision and the comments we got back from the various boards, so we can sort of look at those. So the public hearings will be on the 30th. Our next meeting, and that's our audit meeting as well. We can either have conversation that night or not have it that night. Our next meeting is Tuesday, the 5th, not Thursday, the 7th, because there was might be Hanukkah, I can't remember. It was a holiday, and we set it for Tuesday night instead.
Yeah.
The problem is the county planning board will not review these maps until Wednesday, the 6th. But I'm gonna ask him to immediately get us back comments. The problem is we won't have the county planning board's comments in time, but I highly doubt the county planning board is gonna say, change this parcel or change that parcel.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making is by Monday night, Tuesday night, the 5th, we have to agree on zoning, subdivision, and the maps, any changes we want to make, and then vote on them on the 14th, because that will give you 8 days of notice as board members of the final local law. If we veer from that, we can, but the moratorium is going to expire, and then the local law won't go into effect until January. So just
Yeah.
that's the downside of this.
Yeah, those are the stakes.
But it's all doable. Or we could schedule a special meeting very soon after the 15th and get it done then, but. So that's the goal. So hopefully hopefully
Give Adam as many meetings.
Yeah, I
as
don't
we
want
can.
as many
Yeah,
meetings as
yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
This lasts too long.
So I got a motion and a second. We've had discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain. Okay.
Motion to.
The executive session is canceled, so
I'll second.
motion to adjourn. Aaron? Let me just, before you guys leave, give you those. Michael seconded it, and it's at 9:45.
When did you give this? I mean, I have a.
Saturday, but when you left early, that Saturday, I gave it to you. And nobody else got it.
We adjourned.
I forgot to give it to them.
We adjourned, right?
Yes.